Nagbabalik po ang JUAN-O-JUAN at para po sa ating second segment, Immigration 101 with Crystal Dias.
Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday to all of you. We're back again sa segment natin, Immigration 101. Hello, Rose. Nice to see you again. And it's a great segment with that boy, Zach Efren.
I know.
Amazing voice.
Amazing boy, amazing family. You know, that what makes really proud. Not just the talent of this boy, but also, you know, yung pagsasamahan ng pamilya kahit nasa ibang bansa sila.
The whole village was
So,
there.
the whole village was there, correct? Very Filipino and very Italian.
Yes.
Anyway, let's get on to Immigration 101.
Yes. Okay. So the topic for today, it's actually quite interesting because everyone who came to the UK to work, most of them have families. So I'll be talking about partners and children of health and care worker. So we have a very special guest today. She came over as a dependent of her partner. And this lady is so wonderful because she's a professional in the Philippines and in the UK. So let me just introduce to you, please welcome Attorney Nadine Baligod.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. Thank you, Crystal, for having me.
Thank you for joining us today in JUAN-O-JUAN Immigration 101 segment. And I know you're very busy, but today it's a special topic because you came over from the Philippines to join your partner. So effectively, you are a dependent of someone who has a worker visa. So just let me point out that anyone who's in the UK working with a limited leave under the health and care worker visa, your partner and children can apply to join you or to stay in the UK as your dependents if they're eligible. If their application is successful, their visa will end on the same date as yours. So I take it then that Attorney Nadine has the same valid date and end from date as your partner. So let us start by saying, so where are you from in the Philippines?
Yeah, so we actually hail, both me and my partner, we hail from Tuguegarao, Cagayan. This is farther north, but when we came here, we were already settled in Metro Manila. But we still speak the language, the dialects. So yeah, it's just nice to still be part of the overall community in the Philippines, and still be part of the minority, if you call it that way.
So you said you came from Tuguegarao and you started off as sweethearts, childhood sweethearts.
Yes, my partner Evan and I were first girlfriends and boyfriends, if that's how you say it. So yeah, we were high school sweethearts. We went off and on for quite some time, but then we started to stay with each other as husband and wives. That's how the UK Home Office would like to see it. We started to do that, of course, when we were already adults and we were already working and earning our own income. At that time, we were 20, 27, 28 years old already. So it's quite a taboo at that time in the Philippines, but we had a goal in mind. That's why we started to build up this type of relationship.
So just to be clear, hindi kayo kasal sa Philippines. So
Hindi
you're
po kami
an unmarried
kasal.
partner. Okay.
Yes po. But we came to the UK together as a family, which is quite unusual, I understand now, because most of the nurses here come by themselves first and then they just follow through with their dependents after some time. But we came in here together as one family.
So your partner Evan, hello Evan, if you're watching, he's actually
Yes.
a qualified nurse. So he's working as a nurse in the UK, but he worked as a nurse in the Philippines
Yes,
first. Is that
he
right?
has been, that's right. He has been a theater nurse in the Philippines, and it's a very noble job indeed. But unfortunately, their value is not monetized that well in the Philippines, and it's public knowledge. And Evan's plan at first was to, of course, the plan of almost all nurses in the Philippines is to go abroad. But the first plan that he had is to go to Australia. And it's not as it's not the same as in the UK. The process is kind of different and indirect, if you ask me. So when we had that opportunity for him to come to the UK, we immediately grabbed it. So the rest is history.
So let's talk about you, Attorney Nadine. You didn't take the same path as your partner. You're, in fact, a qualified attorney in the Philippines. So, what happened there? What made you choose that path?
Yes, I've been a lawyer in the Philippines since 2014, and I would like to say that my career there has been quite successful. But when my partner and I, when we decided to have baby when I was 30, um, I thought that the best environment for him would be outside of the country. That is for education and also with healthcare, because it's quite unpredictable how the situation is in the Philippines. And my earning is quite well, but my husband, he has to do a little bit more. So I thought that it would be a sacrifice on my part, of course, to be living my profession in the Philippines, but I had to do it for the sake of my family. So when we decided that we wanted to go to the UK, I was still pregnant at that time, and we went through the whole process. We were hoping that I would give birth in the UK, but no, it didn't happen. So when we arrived here in the UK, our baby was only 3 months old. So
So
I
you
didn't have
have,
any.
what's his name? Your baby's name?
His name is Cairo. So
And how
yes,
old is he now?
he's 3 years now. He's three
He's
years
super
old. So
cute. Yes. I
yes,
don't know,
thank
Chad. We
you.
have photos sent over to you. I don't know if you're able to show this beautiful family. They are actually a hardworking family. So Attorney Nadine, she is a qualified attorney in the Philippines, and her partner Evan is a qualified nurse. Um, so basically, they decided to give a better life for their child, Cairo. They decided to come to the UK. Now, tell me, Attorney Nadine, what did you do when you decided to come to the UK? Who made the application, and what documents, or what did you do? What's required for you to come to the UK as dependents?
Yes, it was quite challenging for me because I had to do the application myself, but I have a little bit of help with some Facebook groups. In fact, there are Facebook groups that will be able to help you in bits and pieces of the process. Of course, the case will always rely upon its own facts, but it helped a lot that you have the social media and help of these people who have gone through more or less the same route. So that's what I did. It was difficult because we had a response from the home office after I did the application, that they were requiring a little bit more. There's only one requirement that they ask for couples who are not married, and that is that they have to be living together as husband and wife for at least 2 years prior to the application. So I remember I sent out the application, and then I got a response from the home office asking for a little bit more. The first requirements that I submitted were a joint bank account, and this is unusual in the Philippines to actually have a joint bank account as boyfriend and girlfriend, because not most people actually do that. But I was lucky to have. As I said, we were looking at doing this in the far future. So I was um, wise enough to actually do that. But it was not enough because the joint bank accounts would only be about a year and a half at that time. So I needed to add a little bit more. And we do have photos, Evan and I, from the past, which obviously shows the aging process between the both of us. And I had to submit a collage of some photos, old ones and new ones, and that wasn't enough. It wasn't enough for the UK Home Office. So they wrote me asking for a little bit more to prove that we were living together as husband and wives for at least 2 years. So what I did was I had two friends who are our close friends from high school to draft an affidavit of as disinterested persons. And in their affidavit, they stated that they knew that we were together since high school and that we started to live together when Evan decided to, because Evan worked in the province as a nurse, and he decided to move to the Metro Manila, and that's when we lived together. And then I also showed his employment, some of his employment records, which showed the same address as me, also in Metro Manila. And I had to attach some Facebook messages, which shows date stamps of him telling, and this is quite basic, but this is what they needed. So in this Facebook exchange of messages, he was saying that he's going home, he's already on his way home, and it shows, that we were living together in one place. But more importantly, what I did was, so that's the requirements of the technical side of things. But more importantly, what I did was I attached a cover letter, and this is an answer letter already to the Home Office reply to my application. And in that cover letter, I was basically pleading to the emotion of the person who was reading my application. And I was telling him that I just gave birth and Evan is already attached to our baby, and I wouldn't want to raise my child alone, knowing that Evan will be in the UK for quite some time if he wasn't going to be with me, and that we want to raise our child together, hopefully, and that we're not going to be any liability to the UK government. And these are the things that they actually just wanted to hear. Aside from the fact that they also want to see that your relationship is legitimate and that you're not going to be going to the UK because you're running away from a crime or anything. They just wanted to know that you're here for a legitimate purpose and that you're not going to be a liability, and that's basically what I was able to show them. And
So you
lo and
showed your
behold,
relationship with Evan that is genuine,
yes.
and as you've been partners for 2 years. So you said it's accepted, but also there's another requirement that you needed to show, that was the financial requirement. So how did you go about doing that?
Yes, so with the financial side, they actually have two ways to for you to prove it. You can either show them bank accounts, but we know that bank accounts in the Philippines are they're not quite they can be, they're not quite as how do I say it, legitimate as how the UK government sees bank accounts elsewhere here in Europe and other first world countries. So the next option was to get a sort of sponsorship letter from the NHS, and you'll be surprised how the NHS is actually just willing to do this. I remember emailing through Evan the HR from the hospital which he is working on, and it was easy. After my email, they just said, okay, can you just give us the passport number and the names of your dependents? And with just that single letter, and this letter would simply state that if in case we needed some funds for support, that they are willing to loan in a way to Evan. And they know that it's not being availed of anyway. So that's what we did. We asked with that letter from the NHS. That's what we submitted as a form of financial proof that we're not going to be a liability in the UK.
I think that's what most dependents of NHS workers do anyway when they're bringing over
Yes.
their family. So that's really good to know that NHS is helping, readily for that letter to be produced. So, okay, this is amazing. You then eventually got the visa. You came to the UK. So, what did you do when you came to UK?
Yeah, so I actually went to the UK without a plan. I wasn't thinking of going on becoming a solicitor, I have to cross qualify in first place. In fact, what I did was I tried to apply to all these blue collar jobs, Greg's, McDonald's, Burger King. I even tried to apply with the retail shops next, and quite surprisingly, no one actually went back to me. So I wasn't apparently, of course, which is understandable. They needed someone who has a little bit of experience with the job that you're taking on. So yeah, no one went back to me basically. So I was having difficulty on that point. And then my husband said, "Okay, so what do you need to get to this cross qualification route?" And then I said, "Oh, we needed a little bit of money, and I have to review and have this really, really rigorous exam." And my husband said, "Okay, let's just take out a loan and you start with your review." And so yes, I had the first exam, which is a multiple choice exam. I had it June 2019, so that's 6 months after we arrived in the UK. And then I had the orals and the written exam July 2020, so that's a year after. And I found out that I passed November, and I was admitted officially March of 2021. So it was a roller coaster. But if I was accepted with Burger King or McDonald's, I wouldn't have I would become a solicitor, to be honest, because I only
So
needed a
you
job.
didn't
That's
you were not accepted to work for McDonald's or Burger King or next.
or
I just
Greg's.
become a
Yeah.
UK solicitor.
Yes. I was lucky to to be able to, because I was not really looking into that
Mm,
route, into that career progression, to be honest. I just wanted a job. But
mm,
it's brilliant that the UK government,
it is.
that the UK, yes, is accepting this type of route, because
Yeah.
not all countries would do that. And surprisingly, and which amazes me, with my becoming a solicitor, it appears that I could also cross qualify now to a lot more countries. So, which opens the opportunity for me to become a solicitor in Australia and in Canada and other European countries. They're now accepting just cross qualification by the mere fact that I'm a solicitor in England and Wales. So it's really brilliant how the world works.
Brilliant.
But I'm not saying I
Actually,
wanted to move to another country. No, definitely not. I don't want to do it
well,
anymore. It's quite a tough
well,
job. So, yeah.
congratulations.
Thank
Very well
you.
done to you. So you qualified in 2021.
2021, yes. So
So
about
what
a
do you
year
specialize
ago.
in? So what do you specialize in the UK and what do you specialize in the Philippines?
Yeah,
Because
so
you're still a practicing attorney in the
in the
Philippines. Is that
Philippines,
correct?
yes, that's right. I'm still attending hearings. My the lawyers who are my co-lawyers in the Philippines, and when I'm attending court, they don't know that I'm doing it in the UK. So I'm doing it overseas. The COVID situation happened to my advantage, because now the hearings are happening via cloud video platform. So that's how I could do advocacy. But I actually also have a partner in the Philippines who is doing all the groundwork. So which makes me be able to continue being a lawyer in the Philippines. But what I specialize in, we actually do not have specialization in the Philippines, to be honest. But most of the cases that I've been working on are with annulment of marriages, because we don't have divorce just yet. I do real estate, property and conveyancing is how you're fair it in the UK, and commercial and labor and employment. So when I arrived in the UK, I was already exposed to this type of problems, human problems. So I thought it's just best to continue with my advocacy. So now I'm actually working on family, divorce mostly, all child cases. I do private client as well. So that's with wills, probate, immigration, since I've been part of the Dias team, and also bits and pieces of commercial. And so that's what I've been working on here in the UK. So it's just nice to continue what you have been doing
Yeah. It
and
beats
have the
working.
opportunity.
It beats working in McDonald's and Burger King.
Yes,
Really. Good thing you
yes,
didn't
but
have
you
to
see,
prepare.
that's true, but you just have to have an open mind. It was just my decision to move
Mm,
my family from the Philippines to the UK. We did not even know that we were running away from a COVID situation at that
mm,
time. So it was really life changing. It was an abrupt decision. I remember I was just in a symposium in Makati, and there was this group of people, British people, doing some form of interviews, and I saw in passing that it was for work in the UK. And at that time, um, Evan was also at Makati Med. He was on his final interview. He was almost about to be accepted there. And I told him, okay, since you already have your documents with you, why don't you just go through this process here? So they're currently doing interviews. And then so he went there with all his papers on hand, and he had an interview, and then he had an exam, and then after that he had a job offer at the end of the day. So it was surprising, that it was amazing at the same time. And I said, okay, why don't we just, look into this opportunity, because we never planned it, but suddenly it's there. And yeah, after that we just
But
went
you're
through the
here
whole
now,
process.
and you've actually, I think it's a great story between, with you and Evan, and you're here and you've extended your visa
We did,
as
yes.
well. Yeah.
Still unmarried, so that's another
Mhm.
story actually with
No
this
rush there.
visa. Yeah, so it's another 3 years that we had
Mm.
the extension, but then we had
Mm.
to prove the same requirements, that we have been living together for
It
two
wasn't so
years.
hard as last time, though, was it?
Not as hard. However, they are requiring at least 4 documents in our joint names to be submitted. So 4 documents, and we only had two. We only had one joint bank account, and we had the utility bill. So the UK, of course, the Home Office, they're providing a couple more alternatives if you don't have that. So in truth, is what we just needed to show was at least 8 documents, I think, from different. So we had that 2 already set. So we needed 6 more. But what I did was I submitted 12 different documents showing Evan with this address and me with this address, just so they know that, okay, I'm not lying. We're actually living in the same house, and we have been staying here for 2 years, and that's how our relationship is. So yeah, with that,
So
it's just really,
your tips then for people when they're applying as a married partner is not to just put in the
yes,
application that's required, but
you have to show them more than what they're asking for, if you want a straightforward without them asking for anything else. Because aside from the fact that it will make your application easier, it would just, remove all doubts of that person who's dealing with your application would have in mind. So my top tip is for them to submit more than what is required, basically, because that's what
excellent.
I did. Because it's still evidentiary. That's just how the Home Office is. They just wanted you to fulfill the requirements. But another tip that I could give is, they're asking for, other documents that would support your application, and this is actually an open opportunity for the applicant to submit, put in emotions at stake. So you could submit a cover letter saying how your purpose is legitimate, why you actually wanted this application. This is your chance to actually not just lay your ground, but to open the emotion side, I mean, to
Yeah.
yes, of things, because
There's
this
a
is
person behind the
it's still a
paper.
person.
Yeah.
That's right, it's still a
Yeah.
person behind that application. And if
Yeah.
you can touch that side, the emotional side, aside from, meeting the technical side, then
Yeah.
it would really give the most out of your application, because and this is not just in the UK, this is in all types of visas in other countries. They're allowing you that part where it says that, are there any documents that you wanted to submit for your application.
Mm.
This is actually the best chance that you got to lay down whatever it is that you wanted them to do. So
Thank
that's
you,
my top
Miss
tip.
Attorney Nadine Baligod. I
Thank
mean, so
you.
many things to take from this talk that we have. We're
Yes.
now that where the time has ended for us, but again, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank
So
you.
just
Not a
to wrap
problem.
up, you have to apply. If you're a dependent, you have to show you have a relationship, you're married or unmarried, and that you meet the financial. Those are the two basic things that you need to meet when applying as a dependent of someone who is on a skilled worker visa. So thank you once again, Miss
No
Nadine,
problem. Thank
Attorney
you.
Nadine
Salamat po.
Baligod.
Salamat po sa pagtanggap sa akin, no. Magtanong lang po kayo. I'm willing to give any form of advice, lalo na sa
And your
immigration
details
kasi.
on the Dice Solicitors website. So if they
Yes
want to get in
po.
touch with you, if they want to know about Philippine law and UK law, please get in touch with Miss Attorney Nadine Baligod. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
po. Salamat po. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Crystal and Rose.
Para sa JUAN-O-JUAN, ako si Jean Alcantara.
I'm Crystal Dias for One, You Connect.
Okay, Crystal, I think that's it for today. Amazing discussion. Nakakabilib yung storya ng kababayan natin in Turin, Italy, and of course, yung storya ni Nadine. I'm sure it will inspire a lot of our viewers, mga kakonek natin all over the world will be inspired by our episode this afternoon. Pero wala na po tayong oras, kaya we have to wrap up. But before that, I'd like to remind everybody that we are on to our third episode na next month ng One Home. So abangan po ninyo yan. And we will continue with Immigration 101. Maraming salamat sa mga nanood sa atin today. And Crystal, we will end the segment with another song from this amazing boy from Turin, Zac Efren Domingo.
If you want my love, she gotta do what it does. If you want this sweet like sugar, good chilies, she gotta give it all. I know you think I'm cool, but I wanna the boy. No, don't be scared that I'll go tie you down. I need a little more. Baby, don't call me a friend. If I hear that word again, you might never get good. You're so sick, me make it in your bed. I'm no rosy word to find. If you think you wanna try, think consider this invitation. Kiss my ass goodbye. Give me that side up, come and give me that side up. Better give me that side up. Come and give me that side up. If it ain't nothing, I won't be hanging around. But don't go up that shit at 3 a.m. Say, how you need me now? Don't call me boo, like some kind of ghost. If you go up, be thinking of the guys, but it's what you need to know. Baby, don't call me a friend. If I hear that word again, you might never get. You're so sick, me make it in your bed. Yeah, I'm no rosy or to find. If you think you wanna try, think consider this invitation. Kiss my ass goodbye. Give me that side up. Come and give me that side up. Better give me that side up. Come and give me that side up. Yeah, hey, yo. Said I'm a special kind of woman. I love you, but I hating what you're doing. Yeah, gotta understand that I'm looking for a man who can get one of I love mine or hands. You gotta show me your boy, which is embarrassed and that's the case, I'm all gone. You gotta treat me like a trophy for me on the shatter. I promise something now, baby, don't call me a friend. If I hear that word again, you might never get tears to save me, make it in your bed. I'm no rosy or to find. If you think you wanna try, think consider this invitation. Kiss my ass goodbye. Give me that side up. Come give me that side up. Better give me that side up. Come give me that side up.
Maraming salamat. At dyan po nagtatapos ang Konek. Maraming salamat mula po sa Turin, Italy, Zach Efren Domingo at ang kanyang ama at ang buong ang kanila na nanonood po sa atin. Maraming salamat po. Dito po nagtatapos ang JUAN-O-JUAN. Ako po si Rose Eclarinal. Ito ang Kwentong Pinoy, Kwentong Migrante, Kwentong JUAN-O-JUAN.
And I'm Crystal Dias. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Hanggang
Bye.
sa susunod sa JUAN-O-JUAN.
Konek.
Juan, saan ka man dalhin ang kapalaran, iisang bayan lang sa puso mo'y laman, pinagmulan at babalikan, konting tiis na lang at hanggang